Hey, hello there, and welcome to your daily dose of alignment. Have you ever just gotten out of the wrong side of the bed? Have you ever just things have just started out? Maybe not even that badly, but it just hasn't quite worked out the way you were hoping it to. So if you can relate to this, let me know, because I know I am definitely guilty of doing this myself. You know, it might be just one of those things where it starts off with like the dog's just annoying you, and so the first thing you think about is like, oh, I'm annoyed that dog like basically has just woken me up. So that's your very first thought, right? And then the next thing, you know, you get out of bed and you stub your toe, or you find out there's no milk left, and then before you know it, you start thinking about that person that really annoyed you 10 years ago. Can you relate? Is this any of this, like, or is it just me? I don't know. And before you know it, your day has kind of taken on a tone. Now, I'm not talking about like a disastrous day or where, you know, like there's car accidents and hospitalizations. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about like a hue that your day takes on, and it's not the bright sunshiny one that you were hoping for. It's one, I tell you the way that I feel it the most, and like, let me know if this kind of makes sense to you, but it's the thoughts that I'm thinking more than what's happening in the outside world. It's my thoughts about it, which that's how it always is. Anyway, if you can relate to that, then that's what we're talking about today. I've got 3 little tips. I think I've got 3 tips that are going to help you to get out of bed on the right side of the bed, not the wrong side of the bed, the right side of the bed. Okay, so hi, I am Kylie Ansett. I am the Alignment Whisperer, and I help people get into alignment with their inner wisdom, their inner power, their inner being, that stuff inside where it's actually all happening, where everything you need to know is there, so that we can live a life that is a purposeful life, and we can live it on purpose. So that's what I'm all about. Welcome to this video. This is your daily dose of tips for getting into alignment. So let's talk about this. That hue that the day takes on when it's just not quite working out. Now here is the first thing. When you've started your day off and it's already kind of not good, like let's say the dog barking or the cat purring. Sometimes I don't want to wake up and, you know, there it is, or the husband snoring, or actually, this is the worst one, the alarm clock going. Now, unless your alarm clock is like, you know, angelic singing or something like that, oh my gosh, I used to date this guy who had the alarm on his phone, because he was a very heavy sleeper. So the alarm on his phone was this noise that, honestly, it was just the worst noise. I mean, you know, it was not a good way to wake up. And here is the first tip, okay? So this is the first one. The very first thought that comes into your mind is super important. I cannot emphasize enough just how important that very, very, very first thought is. That thought that you have almost before you're conscious of having thoughts. And now don't freak out, because if you become aware that first thought is not so good, like, that alarm, oh my God, shut that alarm off. It's not so much just having that thought, it's holding that thought for a period of time. And Abraham Hicks likes to say 16 seconds. They used to say 17 seconds, now 16 seconds. 16 seconds, which is not very long, but it's long enough to catch yourself, okay? So that is the trick, is to catch yourself having that thought, that very, very first thought. That's the one to be aware of. And then, so that's number one. That's tip number one. Now, tip number two is having something already lined up to put it in, to swap it out with. Now, I like to talk to people about something that's immediate, something that you don't have any other negative feelings around. So, like, maybe I might like thinking of my gorgeous little 3-month-old grandbaby, or maybe I might like thinking about my cat, unless my cat has been really annoying me, and then or unless my grandbaby is like, you know, sick or something like that. Like basically the idea is to have to swap out that irritated thought. You know what I'm talking about, right? To swap that out with something that is more, that has no negative feelings. So it could be something really simple, like what your sheets feel like on your skin, because, you know, obviously this thought often happens first thing in the morning, like before you're even out of bed. So just loving the feeling of your sheets, just loving on your bed, just going, oh my God, this bed feels so great, I just love it. And that is an immediate thought that you can swap it out with. Now, this is kind of like magic how this works. Just try it out, because I swear to you, when I started doing this, and when I don't do it, when I start the other thoughts, the like little irritated thoughts, it sets the tone for the day. And when I start the oh, you know, this bed feels so good, or oh, you know, this beautiful person, or whatever, that starts the tone for the day. So just give it a try. Just come on down and give it a go, because you will be absolutely blown away by how much it does have an effect. So that was number two. Number one is being aware of it, because I know for myself, until I started this practice, I wasn't aware that all this stuff was going on in my head. I wasn't even aware of it. And if you're anything like me, you can get 3/4 of the way through the day and you don't even realize that 90% of what you've been thinking is not, it's not like doom and gloom. I'm not talking about depression. I'm not talking about like feeling really angry. I'm just talking about like having a tinge, you know, it just has a tinge, right? Just a tinge of you know, that tinge of That's what I'm going to call it. I am going to hashtag that. I'm going to copyright it. The tinge of Anyway, so the first one is catching when you got the tinge of going on, and the second one is already having something ready to swap it out. So if you hate the sheets on your bed, then that's not going to be a good one for you. But if you love them, then that's pretty good. Or your pillow, or like the view out of your window, or the curtains, or like an inanimate object. I find an inanimate object, for obvious reasons, is often a better one to use in this exercise. So try that out. And the third one is having little reminders through the day. And the best place to do this, like, it's kind of obvious, because how many times a day do you look at your phone? If you were like 99.9% of the people walking around out there, by any observation, you're going to be looking at your phone a lot. And it's not to make phone calls, right? It's to do everything else. Like, our whole lives are on our phone. So use this to your advantage. Have your screensaver as something that is going to trigger that thought or that memory of, like, am I going down the path of thinking like, or am I going down the path of thinking, which one am I doing? And basically that is a really good way to just keep yourself on track, because we look at our phone a million times. So I often find, like, it doesn't have to be, sometimes I have in the past definitely used like motivational quotes and stuff like that as my screensaver, but also just an image like that you can. I was talking to a client the other day about this, and we'd had a discussion, and we we wanted to bring an image that would represent that discussion as something that she could use as a reminder. So it could be like a bird or a butterfly or a roller coaster or the Sydney Harbour Bridge or whatever. Like, it doesn't really matter what it is, but the thing is that it will mean something to you. And an image is really powerful, more powerful than words, because I'm sure you know that an image has, like, our brain processes the information from an image in a split second, like before we've even consciously become aware of it. So for that reason, it's really good if you create a really strong association with that image and then you're seeing it multiple times a day, then, you know, that's going to really help. So those are my 3 tips for today. I hope you have found them useful in living your life of purpose, on purpose, and I will see you next time. Bye.